So, Nikki, a lot of people have heard about bounce back loans. Why should I take one out?
Right. Okay. So there's various different reasons why you might want to take one out. There are some businesses that are already really, really hurting, and they are desperate for cash, but they are a business that is viable, as the government would call it, if the lockdown wasn't existing. So some businesses just can't work, have no income because of the lockdown, or they might have drastically reduced income because of the lockdown, or even additional costs because of the lockdown. So if you're affected by it, the bounce back loan, if you haven't already taken a Sybil's loan, which is different, if you haven't already taken a Sybil's loan, you can have up to £50,000 on a bounce back loan. Now that is a huge amount for some small businesses. For a medium business, that doesn't go very far. But the advantage of it is very easy, generally, the process to get it. Now, there has been some times with certain of the banks, there's been some issues and people have been put on waiting lists, and it's supposed to be a 24-hour process. If you've said, right, yeah, Nikki, I want one, go and get it, most banks you should be able to fill out a simple form for it and receive the money within 24 hours. That isn't the case with all banks, but that is what it's supposed to be like. Okay, so before you do apply, if you want to do it, do just double check what the reputation of your bank with this is, because there has been some teething problems which are still existing in certain banks, unfortunately. But I am advising any business that's been affected that it qualifies for one, because not all businesses will qualify for this loan, okay? But a lot will, a huge amount will. So as long as your business was established before the 1st of March 2020, and as long as your business wasn't classified as a business in difficulty on 31st of December 2019. Now, there's some different variations people are saying of whether you're a business in difficulty. Basically, as long as you weren't, again, there will be open to interpretation, so please don't go gospel. Talk to your bank manager if you're not sure. But typically, if you are within the part of the about to liquidate, or already in the insolvency process, you're a business in difficulty. So that you should not be applying for this. But if you were a business that was carrying on as normal, 31st December, so you'd already been established, and you've been established before the 1st of March, and you've been impacted to whatever extent. If you've got huge bundles of cash in the bank, don't apply for it. Don't, you save that money for the businesses that need it. But if you do at some points in your cycle during the year have cash shortfalls, or, you're really narrow and you think, with a bit more stress test, if you have, say the lockdown goes even further than what you're expecting it, how it is really impactful and important to get that potential £50,000, because it's not 50,000 to all businesses. It's up to maximum of 25% of your revenue. So if you're a business that's got a £100,000 turnover, you're only going to be able to get 25,000. But any business that's over £200,000 revenue, they're going to be able to qualify for the 50,000. That 50,000 is going to be quite likely the cheapest finance you're ever going to be able to borrow, and it's essential for you to keep your business going and you keep your employees. So I would say get it. The worst case, and as I said, don't abuse the system. Don't go in, it's there for spending in your business. It's not, these headlines about people buying different cars and different things like that. That's rubbish. You should not be doing that, and you will get into trouble. It is for the business, and it's for you to use it for the business. But, get it. have it there ready. So if you're having, struggling with your cash flow, you got it there ready and you can use it. What I would say, because I've spoken to a couple businesses over the last week, and this is why I'm doing it now, because like you think, well, surely everyone's applied for it. It's surprising the amount of businesses that haven't applied for it because they thought, well, I've had the grant, yeah, it's not brilliant, but I'm okay. I don't like debts, because that's complete fair. Lots of people, very sensible, just don't want to ever have any loans or debt or anything. And that is fair enough. However, what I say to them is, it's £50,000 potentially. If you think that you might actually need some of that, you can, and if you might not do, but it's interest free for a year before it starts going on to a low tax rate. You can always, there's no penalties for paying it back early. Take it out. If you don't need it in the next year, pay it back again without any, so it won't cost you anything. All it will cost you is the time to do that really simple form. So it's costing you 10 minutes of your time, and then put it and then give it back. Absolutely. If you've got oodles of cash because you've done really well, actually, fine, just pay it back early. But if you've got some uncertainty in your business and you're not sure, borrow that money. It's ridiculous not to. As I say, the only people that I don't think should be applying for it, one, if they don't qualify for the criteria. Second, they should not be buying a load of external things that's not for their business on it. Or thirdly, if you've got $500,000 in the bank and you've always got it in there, yeah, don't apply for it. That's ridiculous. Save for that money there available for other people to borrow that need it. But if you're wavering in and out, if you're overdraft, or going close to that the threshold, just get it there for peace of mind. Everyone's got so much stress at the moment. And what's the worst that happen? You don't spend it, give it back in 12 months.
So Nicky, you mentioned there that it's quite late on in the process now, that a lot of people should have already applied. Is there an end date for applying for bounce back loans?
Yeah, the end date has already been extended. So the current end date is now 31st of March 21. We don't know if it will be extended again. It's best to assume that it won't be. So, if you're watching this in the future, then you probably, it's too late. But 31st of March 21 is currently the deadline to get your application in.